Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Steve Nason. I'm Research Director. I oversee our entertainment practice here at Parks Associates. And I am thrilled today to be joined by Amy McDonnell. She is Senior Vice President of Product Experience Solutions at Everise. How are we doing today, Amy?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me, Steve. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you.
Awesome. So, Amy, why don't you give everyone out there just kind of an overview of Everise and your role there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Thanks for that. So Everise is an end-to-end BPO provider, evolving customer and product experiences for some of the world's most innovative, disruptive, and hyper-growth brands. Our approach ensures that we continuously uncover concise, specific guidance to fix potential issues long before they happen by preempting customers and product issues.
Okay, wow, yeah, that's great. So let's dive right into it. I got some questions for you, kind of about what you're seeing out in the market there to kind of help our audience with your perspectives on things. So first, kind of over the last couple of years, and obviously those last couple of years have included a major disruption, right? The COVID-19 pandemic. What are some of kind of the trends that you've been following in the digital media and connected entertainment space, both on the industry side and those that are involving consumers?
Yeah, I mean, great point that the pandemic has highlighted a lot of trends that we're seeing. Regarding industries that have been affected, it's sort of difficult to identify one that hasn't. Healthcare with telemedicine, gaming with live e-game events,
Mhm.
security with doorbells and remote monitoring, fitness devices with streaming workouts, right? We've really sort of embraced the technology without realizing the struggle that we've had in previous innovations with digging cable, telephony lines, all of those kind of things, because we're now living in a cloud. So
Mhm.
streaming services and bundled offerings from any device is definitely here and will continue to evolve to allow for more consumer and brand interaction during streams to boost followings, brand reputation, and obviously drive revenue.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said you work hand in hand with clients, obviously on the product experience side. So what challenges are you seeing from your clients in this ever evolving? You mentioned some of the trends that are going on. We're obviously in a very unprecedented time, both on the business and consumer side. So what challenges or business problems are you trying to help your clients solve?
Sure, great question. As streaming is becoming more and more bundled, there's lots of decisioning that we have to help our consumers go through, as well as how to stand up those products
Hmm.
on whatever device they're looking for support. So whether that is, like we mentioned, um, in a gaming scenario where it's coming from a console, or it's in a live broadcast event where you can be on any mobile device or any handheld device, it's becoming now a bundled service offering, and it's becoming more and more difficult to choose the actual bundle that you prefer based on favorite
Hmm.
programming and user preferences and product offerings.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's certainly all been about the bundling, no doubt. Uh,
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the role of social media and forums and chat rooms and so forth. You talk about how your goal is to empower brands, right? So the role of social media has become such in the last several years, such a major force in how brands present themselves to the market and also how they appear to the competition and all that. So both on the industry side and consumer side, it's had a huge impact. Can you talk about the role of social media, chat rooms, forums, and more social side of things?
Yeah, right. We used to call them, all of those places, and now really that's just where we get our information.
Right.
There's over 20% of Americans are constantly and continuously in forums like Reddit and Quora,
Hmm.
social networks like obviously the big ones of Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. About 70, almost 70% of Americans are using these forums. And we've gotten very accustomed to user-generated content that's driving consumer decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And in all transparency, it's driving product and brand decisions as well, based on the consumer insight and feedback that we're getting through these social sites and channels. So the channels are actually vital for us to understand the information, but it's super important for us to understand how to manage the processes, how to work through trust and safety issues, and ensure that really we have safety and loyalty from our product and consumers through the use of our own communication.
Yeah, absolutely. And sticking on the social media topic for a minute, obviously it's a place where there's a lot of exposure that brands can get, which can be positive. There's also the negative aspect of social media and how it reflects on a particular brand and so forth. What does that balancing act look like when you're helping out your clients, these brands? You mentioned you work with some of the major brands out there on how to protect their brand, right? Their brand equity, how to protect their customers, right? And then that balancing act, but also using it obviously as an effective marketing and sales tool.
Yeah. And there's actually a third leg of the stool in there, which is also protecting them, their moderators, who are then
Sure,
looking at
sure.
all of this content, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely a balancing act. Trust and safety, like I mentioned, fraud, brand reputation,
Yeah.
all in the forms of content moderation. They're extremely valuable to a brand. They come in, a proactive measure as well as reactive, where you're either out in the universe and you're trying to preempt levels of fraud or kind of rings that are interfering with your brand and that reputation. And then there's also the reactive side, where you then have to try and respond to things like viral posts and pulling
Right.
things down and right. That's all part of brand reputation as well. So really, I'm thinking for digital media brands to be very effective at managing their content, they need to build a strong internal culture, really use the right technologies that provide real insights for consumers, products, and then have great thought out processes and guidelines around those methods of delivering.
Yes, absolutely. Let's kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about the role of technology and how technologies help better meet the needs and the challenges, right, that are in this market for those in the digital media space. Can you talk about the role of technology, how it's evolved, and what its role is?
Yeah, I love technology, right? I fully embrace technology. And I think that what technology has allowed for us is probably three things if I try and bucket them. In a connectivity bucket, we get faster speeds, more devices, more usage. We can put more people into a streaming event all at once. So connectivity
Right.
has definitely played a role. Uh, AI and the use of self-service for all of the product and troubleshooting for customer issues has really helped drive down contact deflection. Or drive contact deflection so that we're not handling the same amount of call volumes.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows for people to realize and take away friction points and fear of usage, right? The more they can self-diagnose, it's not so scary anymore. And
Right.
then honestly providing back that full loop circle of insights for understanding the customer and the product journey. Where are those friction points? How do we resolve them? How do we create seamless connections at any point in the life cycle of the customer and the product? And then give greater visibility, back into brands for product innovation, service support, and future launches and expansion.
Yeah, yeah, that's a lot. And obviously, technology is critical to all that. It's been a great conversation, Amy. To wrap up, I want to kind of spin it forward a little bit. And how are you at Everise? How are you going to help your clients and those in digital media space kind of evolve and innovate to stay competitive in such an environment that we have?
Yeah, we love this space, right? Innovation is part of our core culture, and so Smarter content management is definitely going to be at the forefront for us,
Yeah.
and more immersive experiences.
Mm.
So more interaction with the streaming that we see, so that it's as people are watching events, they can have purchases, they can understand what those products are, they can find out what, more information on it. Imagine viewing, all of these home lifestyle channels and actually be able to say, that's the flooring that I want in my home, and being able to click on a live stream and having the product pop up, a consultant be able to talk to you, and then just be able to purchase based on what you've been watching. It's those kind of immersive experiences that are going to continue leading how technology and product innovation move forward in our in our ecospace.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. And that's a great way to wrap up today. Amy McDonnell from Everise. Really appreciate your time today and your perspectives.
Thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure.